This is Ryan Montgomery. He just did a really important interview on the Sean Ryan Show where he talks about the disturbing trends and some of the dangerous stuff that's going on online that is targeted towards children.
I didn't think I was going to get this worked up this episode. My apologies.
If you are somebody who loves a kid, who has a kid, who plans to be a parent, or just cares about online safety, this is somebody that you need to know about, and I'm going to tell you what he had to say in this interview because it was 5 hours long, and I understand that not everybody has the time to go through something like that, so I'm going to tell you the most important clips that you need to see.
Coming onto a show and talking about this stuff in some of the detail that I want to, I don't really see other people doing.
So like I said, if you don't already know, this is somebody very important that you should know. He's a prominent cybersecurity expert and an ethical hacker who really specializes in combating child exploitation and exposing the dark web. My understanding is that he is an ethical hacker, which means that he's one of the best hackers ever, but he uses it for good. So he's hacking into servers and the dark web, and he's exposing major rings. This is one of the few guys in our whole country, I'm serious, one of the few people whose work is actually leading to arrest. I mean, this guy is willing to break federal law to get into servers to expose these people, and he does not care. He is the real deal. He really cares about protecting children, and he doesn't care about the clout or the money or anything like that. He really absolutely cares about child safety.
I'm not looking for a pat on the back. I'm not looking for money. If you blurred my face and you changed my voice for this episode, it wouldn't change anything. It's really about getting the word out there and making some sort of change because nobody else seems to be doing it.
So I actually first found out about who Ryan Montgomery was when he commented on one of my videos that I had made about Piper Raquel and the Bop House and how she was on a site called Brand Army. And he actually does mention this in the end of this interview. I'm going to show you guys that clip first because I think it's an important one and it's one that we're all familiar with, or at least a story that we're familiar with, the fact that Piper Raquel was doing collaborations and making videos with people who are doing OF, who live in the Bop House. They were collaborating together and her mom had her on a site called Brand Army, and from what we know in the documentary The Dark Side of Kidfluencing, it sounds like her mom was running that account and taking the photos for that account, which is a very sad ordeal, and he does touch on that in this interview.
Brand Army. I had no idea this shit was going on either.
So the brief, because that's a whole investigation within itself. So if you're not familiar with Only, it's a website where people can sell their bodies for money. That's for adults only. There's a site called Brand Army that you can join the site as early as 13 years old, and they have a policy of how many bikini / revealing photos that you can post before, so you could post, let's say, one bikini photo, and then it has to be 2 normal photos, and then another photo that's revealing, and then 2 more normal photos. And these are 13-year-old, girls or boys, but the other part of it is to subscribe to their content where they're paying for the child's content and the parents are actually directly profiting off of it. You have to be 18 years old to subscribe to the children's content. So it's so backwards. There's a house in Florida called the Bop House, B-O-P house, that Bop is like a slang term kids are using for like a or whatever. And there's a lot of OnlyFans was living in there, but one of them was under 18 and they were waiting for her to turn 18 to bring her on to OnlyFans, and they were using Brand Army before that.
Are you fucking serious?
Man. So they knew exactly what they're doing. It's not like a misunderstanding. This is very like the parents that are doing it and letting their kids use Brand Army are fully aware they're selling their sex children and profiting off of it. They're fully aware of it.
I really appreciated that he took the time to listen to that story because it is an important one and it is a really sad, disturbing thing that's going on online, and there is so many things that are going on in there. Now, like I said, this is a 5-hour interview. It's a lot of content. The last 2 hours are a lot of things that parents should watch and should be aware of. They talk about, some of these disturbing trends that are getting to teenagers and blackmail operations that are putting kids in really compromised situations. Now, there are some really disturbing things in those last 2 hours, some of it that I even had to skim through myself because it's just too much, but it is important that parents know what's out there and how dark it really is. Unfortunately, I don't think that I can show any of those clips of him giving evidence of what's going on online. That is something that you'll have to seek on your own. I can kind of describe that basically there are these groups of people who are targeting young, vulnerable children, oftentimes children who are seeking mental health services, so they know that they are vulnerable young kids, and they are getting them in these compromised positions to not only do bad things to others, but also themselves, their pets. I mean, it is horrific what's going on. And they're very clear in this interview, you know, everybody thinks it won't happen to me or my kid's too smart to fall into that, but you just don't know. And it's something that you should be aware of, because if you're talking to your kids about it, then if they do come across something like that, which, you know, undeniably it's hard to keep them off of the internet as a whole. So knowing it, being aware, having the awareness, and knowing that they can come to you if they cross something like this is so, so important, because it's only getting worse, and there's not a lot of people doing this work. There's under 10 people who are actually doing the work to get these kind of people off the streets. That's not enough for how many there are.
That's why you should keep your kids off Roblox. All of these arrests that you're seeing are very recent, and you can find them with a simple search. Seems like a pretty dangerous game to me. Stay safe.
Basically, it's nothing new. There are people who are preying on children that are hanging out where children hang out. It used to be the parks. Now it's right on their phones in your own living room. So it's so important to think about the fact that when you give a child a phone, you're not giving your child access to the world. You're giving the world access to your child.
I understand the people that are watching, some of you are not going to be able to see these videos in full, pictures in full. But I want you to understand how graphic this stuff actually is, how much damage they're actually doing to children, to animals, to their family, to strangers, how volatile this could be. And remember where it starts. It starts on these games like Roblox, like Minecraft, websites masquerading themselves as mental health support groups. It could even be an actual mental health support group that they groom your child off of. So remember those things. If you don't see any of the content and you don't believe it's as severe as I'm saying that it is, and Sean saw with his own eyes, just trust me when I tell you that it is.